Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. I'd like to welcome each of you to another FranTastic InSights social media segment. This is where we introduce to you some very prominent personalities, all of whom are having a very positive impact on the ever-growing world of business ownership. My name is David Craghead. I'm the Chief Franchise Expansion Officer for FranServe and also for the Franchise Dictionary magazine. I kind of wear two hats in that regard. And today I'm going to be your host for this week's FranTastic InSights social media segment. FranServe, for those of you who may not be familiar with us, is recognized as the world's largest franchise consulting and expansion organization. We have a very simple mission, and that is we change people's lives in a very positive way through franchise and business ownership. And we do that through a network of incredible brands in 39 different industry categories. Most of the brands are indeed franchises, while some are what the industry refers to as biz ops, business opportunities. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Our growth initiatives are supported by a growing portfolio of consultants, many of whom are often referred to as brokers, but all of whom are dedicated to helping their clients explore different business opportunities which are deemed to be a perfect match to their individual search criteria. And today I'd like to introduce to you Jeanne Boram. Jeanne is the VP of Business Development for the legacy brand known as Signworld. They were founded in 1988. They're headquartered in Lake Forest, California. And it's very important to know that Signworld is not a franchise, but instead they are best described as a business owners alliance. They offer no rules, no royalties, and most important, they have no limitations. That's a bold statement, but that statement may also create some questions in your mind. And if so, you're in the right place today to get your questions answered. So Jeanne, thank you for being with us today. We appreciate your time. And as I pass the microphone over to you, please share with us your business model description and your latest perspective on the business model provided by Signworld.
Yeah, first off, thank you, David, for having us here today. And to those listening in, thanks for the interest in learning more about us. So I love what David said. We're legacy. Yes, we've been around for 35 years, so definitely have a long proven track record. Today, we have 350 independent owners operating in almost all states here in the US as well as in Canada. But as David said, we do it in a very unique way as a business opportunity and not as a traditional franchise. But we do look and feel a lot like a franchise in the fact that we do offer unlimited ongoing training and support for all of our owners. So it's a very unique business, and we feel it's something that's unique to our industry. You know, you think about some other businesses and different market segments, whether that's, food and beverage or something that's focusing more on the consumer industry, whether that's fitness or health, etc. Name brand recognition can go a long way in those industries. But we're finding in the commercial sign industry that brand name recognition is not important. What is important is delivering an exceptional customer experience to that potential prospective customer and continue to support that customer on an ongoing basis for all their commercial signage needs. So our model is here to help successful owners learn how to establish and operate their daily business. But to what David said too, there's no limits to this business. Our owners don't have a defined specific territory from where their customers must be coming from. So they are capable of building a nationwide national sign company and support customers literally in all geographies, not just in their local markets. So it gives you an unlimited scalable model with no rules, no limitations, but also with a proven successful track record that helps owners in every aspect of the business. So it is a very different option available today.
Thank you, Jeanne. Can you describe for us the corporate culture that Signworld offers? How does that feel? And I know Jack Warner, and for those of us that don't know Jack, you really need to know there is a culture here. So can you describe that a little bit to us, please?
Yeah, I love the question. Culture is what we're here for, to be honest with you. When we think back to our founder of why he set up Signworld the way he did, he was an independent business owner in the sign industry himself. Former banking executive, had no sign experience, but was attracted to the sign industry for a lot of the characteristics of what the sign industry and the business is about. We can talk about that in a moment. But when it came to culture, when he identified what he wanted to build a business community of connected professionals that come from all walks of life that are truly committed to helping each other on a daily basis. And that is what we work to foster and grow and continue to thrive on within Sign World. It's about helping every owner be better, and we know we'll all be better together. So, that contribution and creating that culture of giving and caring, it's a different type of atmosphere. And to your question, David, I'd say it's not like a corporate culture. It's really a family culture. And that's really what we really focus on.
Very good. I misspoke. I should have said family culture.
It's okay.
Okay. Jeannie, can you tell us a little bit about what effects, if any, the current economy is having on Signworld and your owners?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a lot of concepts out there, and signs is one of those needs of a business, not a want. It's a need that every business has to market themselves, for them to attract, additional customers, signs to help direct people to, the right place at the right time. Signs are needed. The world will be literally chaotic without signs. So they're never going to get replaced. We don't see physical signage being replaced completely, except with new types of signs, new material components, new partners and suppliers or manufacturers that can make signs, new types of signs that might be introduced. But the need will always be there. Even in the COVID pandemic, there were different types of signs needed. The corporate office projects might have been put on the sidelines for a while, but the need for COVID related signage was significant. So our owners will say, and we have surveys that we did in all the economic times, and we go back to the recessions of the 80s, the recessions of the 2008, the banking crisis. Our owners have been through it all, and so have we. So what I can say is, in those economic times, businesses might be moving, downsizing in location or to a more economic place. They might be closing, they might be starting new, they might be rebranding to go after a different demographic. And all those are business triggers that still require signage. So we really don't see our industry as tied as much to the economy that other industries might be. But I will say that the current times have impacted some of our owners in the relation of hiring employees. That is probably the number one struggle that our owners would say they face today. And that's a result of the economic times we're in. So there is, some impact that it's having on our industry, but nothing that's insurmountable and something that doesn't necessarily impact the revenue generation side of the business. It's more about the, accomplishing and completing the projects.
I remember a few years ago, Jack described that the average individual who drives across town, maybe just a mile a day, is probably exposed to over 1,000 signs. They may not realize it, but they're everywhere. Signs are absolutely everywhere. So it's an industry that will never max out, in my opinion. I'm sure that's the way you feel about it as well. Speaking of the future, or looking into the future, are you forecasting any significant changes to either your industry or to the Signworld business? I know you mentioned that materials will change. What about signage itself? Are you anticipating any changes over the next few years?
Again, I think it does come down to the materials, and the equipment to manufacture them will always continue to improve. Technology is always evolving over time. We're seeing some shifts into digital signage, where now there's more digital signs today than there were 5 years ago. But you think back 20 years ago, and wrapping vehicles wasn't a thing back then either. And now you don't pass a box truck or a semi that doesn't have some kind of either the company name or a marketing name on it. So I think signs are always going to evolve. And for us, Signworld, our goal is to be on the forefront of what are those changes? What are those emerging trends? What are those industries? But that's also the beauty of what we do, in that, when owners want to focus on a new market segment, we're featuring and showcasing webinars with other owners who are focused on those market segments. And they're sharing, what does their sales process look like? What are those market opportunities in the school systems or with hospitals or with hotels? So they know how to go after those other targeted markets. But I can't say we see any significant or substantial changes, David. Just new materials, new partners, new suppliers, new ways of doing business. But that's what we're here for, is to continuously help that owner get to that next level in their business that they're looking to achieve.
And regarding that owner, as we bring new applicants to you, and that's what our brokers are challenged to do, is to bring the next best Signworld business partner to you. How would you describe the perfect applicant for Signworld?
I love that question, because I work daily with so many unique owners that come from so many different walks of life that have different personal, financial, professional goals. This is more a business. I mentioned a little bit ago about our founder and how he became attracted to the model because of the characteristics of the business. So what I would say is there's probably two key characteristics that are most important that we look for in an owner to be successful. And that is, they thrive in building relationships. You need to feel comfortable building relationships with your team, your employees, your staff, as well as with customers. So that is an ideal characteristic that we are always looking for. Someone who wants that interpersonal communication and conversation and helping other businesses be successful with their business. That's a key component. The other one I'd say is a problem solver, someone who thrives on being challenged, that will have unique types of projects every single day and constantly wants to, grow their business and solve, the projects, the individual components and construction of a sign. There's all different types of things. You're procuring materials from someplace, you're managing the timelines. You got to make sure that you feel comfortable in that very multifaceted environment of custom commercial sign manufacturing. So those are probably the two most key characteristics of their personalities that we're looking for. But we have former engineers, we have former teachers, former military, former finance, former sales and marketing executives. We literally have every resume profile in our owner community. But it's more a matter of, what makes them, feel a purpose, or what financial goals do they have, or what really motivates them. That's where some of the commonalities come to play, because they're looking for a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 business, something that's not open on nights and weekends. They're looking for something that might not require a large team of employees. And in this business, you don't need to have a big team to reach high numbers. They're looking for that connected professional environment where their peers, their colleagues, the owner community is full of a bunch of professional, connected individuals, but they're also connecting themselves with other businesses. That's what they're helping with. So whether they're community involved or just connected within their community, they really enjoy that aspect. They enjoy the unscalability of the business and the freedom to gain customers all over and help them in, again, what is one of the most critical parts of someone else's business is helping them drive revenue and signage, and helping bring their brand and their vision into an image to help attract revenue and sales and future customers or members, clients, whatever they call them. It's critical, and our owners are helping them do that. So it's more about what they're looking for and what they want that drives that commonality, not so much what their backgrounds are and those types of aspects.
Good answer. Very thorough. Thank you, Jeanne. Let's continue with that scenario. We bring the perfect applicant to you. They fall in love with Signworld. You fall in love with the applicant. They sign on the dotted line. And in terms of a time frame from the date they sign on that dotted line, sign their agreement with you, until they have the ribbon cutting and the grand opening, what kind of time frame typically does that look like?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We would say the typical timeline is 3 to 4 months. It is going to be market dependent on the commercial real estate, which is the physical location for the operation. Some markets that might take a little bit longer, some might be shorter. But in those 3 to 4 months, we're helping with all the other aspects of getting the business open too. Creating a website, going through formal business training, technical training to learn about the equipment, learning about all the software systems to run the business, getting those pieces and parts put together, helping them find and hire that first employee. We help with the interviewing process. So by the time they get through those 4 months and their physical space has equipment, they have an employee, they've got a technology platform to run their business on, they've had lots of sales and marketing training, they know the different product types. By the time their doors are open within that 3 to 4 months, we do actually say ribbon cutting typically is about another month or two after that, because they want to get the physical space prepared. They want to have a few customers to invite to really gain that attention. So it's about a 6-month process to ribbon cutting, but to doors open, it's 3 to 4. But what's great about Signworld is many owners don't need to have a physical space to actually start with order generation or customer generation. They're promoting their business to their friends and family and anybody that they can think of, and they all need signs. Schools, churches, doctors, grocery stores, it doesn't matter. They all need it. So if they're out there just talking about their business, they might get some projects that come their way that can't wait a couple months. So in that opportunity, they're leveraging the Signworld community of other owners to help them create the estimates, build the work, install the work, etc., or our ecosystem of partners and suppliers that we provide our owners to help them accomplish that. So it doesn't have to wait for revenue generation, but to actual ribbon cutting, I'd say about 6 months is that timeline.
Which is very reasonable in today's comparison with other brands that open up. You mentioned formal business training. Is that a combination of classroom as well as field training?
Great question. So Business Week training is done virtually over Zoom. We used to do it in person, and now in today's world, we've all adapted and we're doing it successfully over Zoom. So full week over Zoom. Technical week training is classroom training. Our new owners are coming to our facility in Orange County, California, and physically working with the same exact equipment that will then be part of their physical operation as a brand new owner. So learning how to design a sign, how to take the artwork, how to do color management, how to send it to the printer for production, send it to the plotter to cut, learning how to laminate, learning how to install signs. It's kind of a 1-week boot camp to give them all kinds of, foundational knowledge about the types of materials, how to produce a sign, and the components of the process. So they're capable of talking about it with their employees and their future customers. That's not the role of an owner, but we feel it's important for them to understand it. From there, they do on-the-job training where they physically go and work side by side with other owners and walk in the same shoes as they are throughout a day and observe and learn and gain that knowledge. They start joining weekly sessions, sales and marketing classes on Mondays. Thursdays are operational classes, pricing classes on Wednesdays. They're doing tons of training there too, but that is all done virtually also. So the only in-person trainings would be the physical technical week training and then the on-the-job trainings at other operations to kind of walk and learn and walk in the shoes of an owner.
And I would imagine there's an element of continuing education beyond that, just to stay current in your industry. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things that I think is the cornerstone of what Signworld does best is providing that ongoing training and support to help every owner. Because I mentioned they come from different walks of life. So, some folks have a financial background, so they feel really good with, the accounting and the financials, but they're not as comfortable with maybe the HR aspect. Or maybe someone has really great sales and marketing, but they don't have a great, process and workflow management and how to do the project management piece. So every single day of every month, we have multiple webinars on all different topics, and the owners are joining in to learn from the topics that matter most to them. But I think the one thing that makes us also unique, David, is many of those sessions are being, although organized and moderated by us at the corporate team, the subject matter expertise is being delivered by other owners to the community. They're sharing their keys to success, or what was their process, or what did they learn? What were the mistakes that they recommend you avoid if you're to go down that path? So the owner community really being invested in helping one another is what really comes out with the ongoing training and support. But yes, there's webinars on all different aspects of the business every month of the year on an ongoing basis to help our owners continue to learn, build, evolve, and grow by learning from one another as well.
Very good. Thank you, Jeanne. We've almost come to the very end of this interview, but I'd like to end by asking you one final question. Is there a takeaway that you would like to share with with the viewers today on a topic that we may not have yet covered that you want them to know about Signworld?
Yeah, it's a really good question, David. I guess if I can leave it with one closing idea or concept to really get grasp is, I talk to prospective sign owners almost every day. And the one thing I'll say, 99.9% of them, when we have that first call, say, I never would have thought about the sign industry, but I'm working with one of my FranServe consultants and they thought this could be a good business for me. Because it's not the making of the signs that the owner is doing. The owner is running a professional commercial sign company and they're not making the signs. So it's really about having that Monday through Friday business, that 8 to 5, that unlimited legacy of building a business the way you want to. We didn't talk about this much yet, David, but every owner has their own business name. They have their own reputation, their own brand identity. And having that ability to create something very unique that really tailors to you instead of trying to fit towards a business model, it allows our owners this freedom to really build something that matters to them, that's, keep or triggering on all things that are most important for them. So it's about being involved in your community. It's about, building a team of people. It's about building a customer base, but doing it in a very unique way that Signworld provides the training support to help you succeed. It's just something that once you start identifying signs are needed everywhere, you can build it your way, you can have the train support that you might need. It's a really, really unique opportunity. So I just hope people think about the bigger picture of the why and the how, and not so much the what, because it's really the why and how that makes the most difference.
Very good. Well, Jeanne, I'd like to thank you for the privilege of your time today. You've been extremely thorough, very educational. It's exactly what we were hoping that you would deliver to us today, and you did it in spades. So thank you very much for that. This entire interview, both audio and video, will be posted on the FranServe support site. It'll be archived in the FranServe library, and it'll also be uploaded to Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn for everyone on the outside of FranServe to be able to enjoy this presentation. So once again, thank you, Jeanne. And with that, we will adjourn today's FranTastic InSights recording. Very much appreciate it. Bye-bye now. See you.